Alright, this is RvB Ganked 100. Specifically, this is the part where the capitals are on the field. Prior to this, there was about a 2-hour form-up. A lot of people were getting restless. We did get a couple kills on the way to the system, and with so many people, we had, I think, 2.5 fleets worth of people just on our side, and there was, people in the fleets that were broadcasting targets of people in the other fleet, so we ended up killing a couple of our own guys, which is just, it's gonna happen. It's a logistical problem. By the time it all got sorted out, we hit the field. I think there was close to like 40 capitals on the field. For this part, I was using a Merlin. It was just something that was on contract in the start system, and I grabbed it. It's using 3 light ion blaster 2s, micro warp drive, shield extender, I had a web, and a damage control, a magnetic field stabilizer. In the rigs there was defense field extenders and anti-EM screen enforcer. It was just something I grabbed, and it's actually worked out really well for me. By the end of the night, I was on a total of 92 killmails, roughly totaling 40 billion in damages. There were 12 carriers I got on for about almost 18 bill, a couple dreadnoughts for 7, and then a few strat cruisers for 3 billion. About a dozen Maelstroms, a dozen Dominixes, come out to about 40 billion, so it wasn't a bad night. I think I lost, I don't know, 40 mil maybe. As you see, I sped up the fight because it did last about 3 hours, just this part, and I warped out in this sequence. I got going, I warped out twice. With tie-dye being 10 to 20% most of the night, the way I sped it up, this would probably be actually real time if there wasn't the problem with having to have tie-dye. So this is just a way to make it shorter, because having you sit here for 3 hours watching is kind of crazy. I mean, I do have the full mumble recorded and stuff, but it's just not worth uploading 3 hours worth of video. So I did start taking some hits here, and I called for shields. They didn't really get to me in time. Like, I would have been well in the armor if these guys didn't stop shooting me. I'm not sure why they stopped shooting. Maybe we killed whoever was trying to shoot me. There's just too many people to keep track of that, and I was like, I don't care. And eventually I did get some reps, and that happened 2 or 3 times, and the Logi actually did save me a couple times there. And I just finished Galante Battleship 5 from losing it from having a bad clone, I don't know, like a year ago, and I just never went back and fixed it. So what the plan was to have the dreads and the carriers focus on this T3 gang that was here, this fleet, and they had, I don't know, this Proteuses and Legions, and they just had so many Guardians with them that it was really hard to take them down, because by the time we get them, near structure, the reps would come in, and they would pretty much rep it to full, and that was it. So the main goal for the subcap fleet, which I was in, was to take out these Guardians. We did get a couple. We didn't get as many as we should have, I don't think. I mean, there's just with 2 fleets, we weren't calling the same targets. And if at the beginning, if the 2 fleets, the 250-man fleets were on the same page, we should have been able to take these Guardians out pretty easily. But they started out having like the FC for our fleet and then FC for the second fleet, and they weren't staying on, like they weren't calling targets the same targets. It was kind of rough, and I think we should have gotten a lot more Guardians down, which would have been able to help us break these Proteuses in the end, which didn't happen. That T3 gang eventually won out. But there was a couple other fleets in there too. There was an Eve Uni fleet of Caracals. Brave, like right now Brave's here, and they brought in Thoraxes and Scythes. And here's a Proteus they're trying to break right now. You see he's pretty much down to quarter armor, even less right there, and the Guardians get on him. Boom, full, just like that. That's pretty much the story of the night. We just weren't cracking these Guardians fast enough or efficiently enough, and they did their job. They made their money. Also, at this point, I was running about 7 or 8 frames per second. It was horrid, and I was being stupid. And I was like going around and I was shutting stuff down, outside of Eve, end tasking stuff and trying to get some CPU going, and nothing was helping. And me being stupid at the time, I didn't think to lower my graphics settings. So this is Eve, max settings with 1,100 people, probably 1,000 of them are on the field, or at least going to be on the field at some point. Max settings, running 8 frames a second on a GeForce 760. And it's overclocked. So, and the whole night, it didn't occur to me to lower the settings on the Eve client. I turned the brackets off and all this other stuff. It didn't hit me. Here's another Proteus they're trying to break, which we actually ended up killing. We ended up killing him. But they're calling, everybody web him, everybody web him. I don't know what their max speed is or whatever, but I think there were so many webs on him, he was moving at like 5 meters per second. but the Guardians just get them back to full. I also think that the Dreads were trying to break some of these guys a little too long in some cases. You know, where they're calling, hey, we need reps on, or webs on this guy, webs on this guy. And, you know, there's a point where, yeah, we have all the webs on them, but you guys aren't hitting them hard enough. You're not breaking the reps from the Guardians. You should switch targets. And they didn't do it quick enough, at least I thought. You know, I don't know, I wasn't in the mumble part of the capitals, so I don't know what was going on in there actually, but it just felt like they weren't switching targets fast enough. Now see this Guardian here, we actually got into structure and they repped him back. I actually thought we were going to get that guy, but it didn't happen. So since they had most of them Guardians pre-locked, we were switching targets around, trying to get new people, which happened to be, you know, 30-40k away from me, so I couldn't web them or nothing, and my guns wouldn't head out that far. So this is just whoring on their kill mails if they happen to get them. Another Proteus. You see he's getting reps. This point, a fleet of maelstroms came in, and basically we just crushed them. They warped on the field, we changed targets, said, you know, screw the Proteuses, screw the Guardians, we're taking out all these maelstroms, and we did. Just one after another. And then the remaining, I don't know how many were remaining, but they started warping off. You see we're just dropping them. Megathrons too, there was a couple of Megathrons mixed in there for some reason. There's an Armageddon too. These maelstroms didn't even have a chance. The Dreads and Carriers actually switched over to that fleet as well. So that fleet just got murdered. after they warped out, we go back to Guardians. You can see is I don't know if it was, you know, other fleets going on around us, but as soon as you target these guys, they're in half shield. So our DPS was split. That was a screenshot from the head fight that was going on at the same time. Just all kinds of stuff. Naive Uni. Fleet Caracals. I don't know how many they had. They had a lot. So here I changed one of my tabs here to show only capitals, and reason being was, you know, at this stage I'm like, yeah, we're not killing anything else. It's not happening. These, you know, the FCs. It seemed like the FCs of the two fleets that we were in gave up. You know, like they stopped talking. They were like, oh, well, you know, none of the stuff we're calling is dying. You know, and they weren't getting what they wanted out of it, so they pretty much, you know, shut up for a little bit. They came back and tried again after a little, you know, mental break, I guess. So I just started one-shotting some capitals. And I was still, you know, webbing the Proteus they wanted webbed, but it's just, you know, it's not happening at all. Oh, this Kestrel here was trying to kill me. Didn't happen. Yeah, so here, the FC from my fleet was like, we're gonna go kill these Caracals because they're tearing us apart. Okay, well, it was a pretty good burn to them. And they called these two Caracals, and as soon as they were called, the guy forgot he called them and called new ones, and it just turned out to be horrible. and here I get primaried by him. So I called in for reps, but it wasn't going to happen fast enough. So I tried warping out, and I did get away. It was like 33% hull. So I hit the station, repaired, came back here. So you can see all the capitals here. And in a few minutes something's going to change. That warp out was for a regroup for the subcat fleet. Didn't really happen. We did kill a Legion on station, and then I warped back into the main fight because the capitals were starting to go down, and the main reason is, see here in a second, I hope. Boom. Majority of the capitals jumped out. So somebody had a Sino somewhere and they took off. And then the ones that remained were the ones I guess were tackled or couldn't jump for whatever reason. So made sure I got on their killmails. I was trying to broadcast a little stuff that was close to me, that I felt, we could actually kill. Not that it would make a difference in the fight at all. So you just watch these capitals go down. Just trying to keep most of them targeted. But I could only have 5 targeted at one time, so it was kind of like a guess of which one's going down. Getting on a couple other little kills here and there. And here my overviews got screwed up. So I had to go back and set them again. At which point I noticed I'm 200k away. So whatever was orbiting died and I just kept going. So I had to burn back in, and I missed getting on the work roll kill. You see my watch list there, all those capitals are on my watch list. And in the end, I was burning away in the fight, and I was just trying to keep eyes on the targets and the capitals. But I didn't notice an Imperial Navy slicer following me. And by the time I did, I was already webbed, or not webbed, warp disrupted, and he eventually killed me. There was a roam afterwards. We actually went to head to pick up the scraps, which we did get some kills in. Dominic's is mostly, and I'll probably be putting out a video for that later on this week. Just a nice, really good times.